We have seen quite critical statements coming from the US, the UK and the EU. The EU has pointed particularly to the harsher penalties, but also its sort of partial retroactive ability. But the US statement points to sort of this general potential that we could see fundamental freedoms eroded in the city too. And the UK has echoed similarly some of those worries. And as you say, though, comes part of a sort of broader criticism that the Hong Kong sort of openness, once this sort of freewheeling bastion of free speech and so on, is shifting and changing underway. It is worth saying that some of the local domestic business institutions in Hong Kong, like the Hong Kong Chamber of Commerce, have come out saying this will ultimately help improve the business environment.
Okay, so Rebecca, there have been criticisms on both sides. As Heidi mentioned, there's been some criticisms that this law is vague, the wording is vague, but then we hear that it might improve the environment. Let's hear a little bit more about that. How could it improve things in Hong Kong?
Well, in some ways, this perhaps does present both an opportunity and a challenge for Chief Executive John Lee. The sort of passing of this legislation, which was required and mandated under the Basic Law after the handover, and in fact is actually sort of the last piece of major national security legislation that has to be passed after we saw the government move to crack down on those pro-democracy protests back in 2019. And I think there is this desire among the business community and the foreign business community too in Hong Kong for the government to move beyond national security, to start focusing on Hong Kong's status as an international financial centre, to focus more on trying to boost the economy, particularly as we face the sort of ripple-through effect of that slowdown in China's economy too. So there's this, I think, this desire and opportunity to sort of move on with the agenda now. Remains to be seen precisely how we see that happen.